Okay, sir.
Start. Yes, sir. Please record it. Mr. Sujay Kundu, please record. Start recording.
Vice President has joined.
Vice President, why without a tilak today?
Mr. Sujay
No,
Kundu,
I got.
please start now.
Okay,
Please
so do
start
I start?
recording.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. A very good evening to everyone. And it's an honor and privilege to have all the eminent speakers and one of the webinars where we have so many past presidents. It's nice to it is really nice to see them all. And Banking and Financial Services and Insurance Committee with the Institute of Cost Accountants of India is organizing the April 2021 the observance of the MSME month. And today we have the second webinar of this month, which is the Concurrent Cost Management through Value Chain. In view of the significance of the MSME sector in the Indian economy and to spread the awareness of the various schemes in MSME, the BFSI committee, in association with International Affairs Committee and also the Directorate of Studies of the Institute, is celebrating and observing the April 2021 as the MSME month by organizing 4 national and 1 international webinar across the country. We had the first webinar on 6th of this month, which was the project evolution to execution. And we are here today with the second webinar, Concurrent Cost Management through Value Chain. So the final national webinar is being organized in coordination with the MSME Development Institute, Nagpur, on the theme Way Forward for Value Addition to and by MSME sector, where we'll have Shri Nitin Gadkari sir, the Honorable Minister for Road and Transport and Highways and MSME GOI. And the Institute is also organizing an international webinar in association with its London Overseas Center on 22nd of April 2021. So it's an honor and privilege, as I've said, to have everyone out here today. And just before we start our webinar, Shubho Poila Boishakh to all in advance. And we will grace the webinar with the Institute anthem, and then we'll start thereof.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmamritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So we are all set to start off with today's webinar. That's the second webinar. And I hand over the session for opening remarks to Jyoti Satish ma'am. She is the former chairperson of SIRC ICAI.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome.
Most respected leaders of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, CMA Vishnu Basu, President, CMA P. Raju Iyer, Vice President, CMA Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay, Chairman, Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Committee, CMA H. Padmanabhan, Chairman, Committee for Accounting Technicians. Guest of honors, former President CMA Kunal Banerjee, CMA Dr. A.S. Durga Prasad, CMA M. Gopalakrishnan, C. Hariharan S. Ramamurthy, National Vice President, Laghu Udyog Bharati, CMA R. Venkatramani, Director, Westcott Electrical Limited, Private India Limited, Chennai, other respected members and participants on and off the dais. Namaste and season's greetings to one and all. Today we have the webinar on concurrent cost management through value chain by Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Committee on the occasion of observing the month of April as MSME month. All of us have been talking about VUCA environment for quite some time, for the last few years. And through COVID period, we practically have been going through one VUCA world. Here, companies across the globe are all the more under tremendous pressure to improve profitability, to severe cut cost pressures exerted by the economy, competition, and changing customer bases, etc., etc. Organizations are increasingly looking for integrated and sustainable approaches to gain competitive cost advantage. The elements of business strategy should logically flow into building blocks for cost management. Competitive advantage is the essence of all strategies and therefore generating value for stakeholders. And to achieve efficient application of well-formulated business strategy. Business strategy, competitiveness go hand in hand. They are complementary to each other. In business environment characterized by uncertainty, turbulence, cost management becomes the crucial factor of a company's success and keeping and upgrading of its competitiveness. In an effort to create a successful business strategy that may respond to all challenges of modern environment, company management has to process a quality database. With the changing business conditions where the change is the only constant, the strategy being more compatible to new business conditions, and now we have confrontation strategy also. Today, our well-experienced speakers will be throwing light on or share their thought process on the topic concurrent management, cost management through value chain. With regard to the biggest employer, the industry of India, that is MSME. So today's talk will be with respect to the MSME and where this concurrent cost management and value chain. Without much ado, let me request CMA Chattopadhyaya, Chairman, BFSI, to deliver welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Chittoda, kindly unmute your mic.
Unmute.
Thank you, madam, for your brief introductions of the whole topics. Madam Jyoti Shutish, our former chairperson of SIRC of ICI, respected chairperson, president of the institute, Cma Basu, would be joining shortly. Respected vice president of the institute, Cma Raju Iyer, our very illustrious and honorable past presidents of the institute, Cma Kunal Banerjee, Dr. Cma A.S. Durga Prasad, Cma Gopala Krishnan, and Cma Pramod Bhattar, and our very respected speakers today, Cma R. Venkatarami, who happens to be an entrepreneur himself, and he's the director of the company, and our Mr. Hariharan sir, who is also representing the all MSME enterprises all over Tamil Nadu, and he's the national vice president. Sir, we welcome you. All from our Nagpur, who have actually helped us to conceive this idea of holding this MSME month. Dr. Srihari Chaba, who happens to be a cost and management accountant also, CMA Jyotsna Rajpal madam, and all the Central Council members and attendees who are attending this, ladies and gentlemen. This, no doubt, this is a day, auspicious day, when you are having one program in the presence of so many luminaries of our profession. I feel myself proud enough, at least to get a chance to speak before them about this program and give my welcome address. We welcome you all, sir. And you see the way in this concurrent cost management value chain, when we have conceived, before that we had certain thought. Micro, small and medium enterprises are critical for India's economy as they contribute significantly to its GDP and provide employment to a sizable population. One of the key focus areas of Indian economy to accelerate growth of MSMEs and to boost investment in the Indian startup ecosystem. The MSME segment is expected to play significant role in the emergence of the Indian economy. The development of this segment is extremely critical to meet the national imperatives of financial inclusion and generation of significant levels of employment across metro, urban, and rural areas of the country. Further, it can nurture and support development of new age entrepreneurs who have potential to create globally competitive business from India to make self-reliant. And we have already come across a lot of issues. We have through our here our chairman of the CAT and AAT board is here, Cma H. Padmanabhan, whom I can find that he is one of the persons who has really tremendously, he has taken it as a task that for MSME sector, the CAT will be taking to the ground level. So thank you, sir. And this COVID-19 pandemic has impacted business, financial markets, economies all over the world, including India, and has impacted the business operations of MSME, exposed many of them to financial distress. Our institute felt it necessary to help the MSME in such trying times. We from the Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Committee conducted survey amongst the members of our institute, and based on the feedback of learned members, we submitted suggestions for rejuvenation of MSME sectors post-COVID-19 to the MSME ministry, including extension of rehabilitation measures. You will be very happy to note that many of our suggestions were endorsed by the government in various forms. The country has shown remarkable resilience, be it tackling the pandemic or ensuring economic recovery. It was considered necessary to urgently address the specific requirements of MSMEs relating to the resolution of their insolvency due to the unique nature of their business and simple corporate structures. Government has taken several measures to mitigate the distress caused by the pandemic, including increasing the minimum amount of default, initiation of corporate insolvency resolution process, Rs 1 crore, and suspending filing of applications for initiation of corporate insolvency resolution process in respect of the default arising during the period of 1 year beginning from 25th March 2020. In view of the fact that such suspension for filing of applications, initiations of corporate insolvency resolution process has ended on 24th March 2021, the Government of India has through an ordinance on 4th April 2021 has considered expedient to provide an efficient alternative resolution process for corporate person classified as MSMEs under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, ensuring quicker, cost-effective and value-maximizing outcomes for all the stakeholders in a manner which is least disruptive to the continuity of the business, which preserves jobs within a prepackaged insolvency framework, which is a kind of restructuring plan. This is a historical move by the Government of India. We will be happy that our institute has brought out a comprehensive handbook on MSME titled In Memory on Lending to Micro, Small and Medium Sector Enterprises, including restructuring of MSME credit, which covers A to Z aspects of MSME startups and also for the existing units. It delves on the registration process to restructuring of loans available from the financial institutions, including important areas like trades, listing with NSEs, global tender system, business continuity plan, MSME strategies for survivability, etc. In view of the significance of the MSME sector in the Indian economy and to spread the awareness of various schemes in MSME, BFSA Committee, in association with International Affairs Committee and Director of Studies of the Institute, is celebrating and observing this April 2021 as MSME month by organizing 4 national, 1 international, and several local webinars across the country and globe. Final national webinar is being organized in coordination with the MSME Development Institute, Nagpur, on the theme Way Forward for Value Addition to and by MSME Sector, where Sri Nitin Gadkari, Honorable Minister for Road Transport and Highways for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India has kindly consented to grace the event as chief guest. And we will be having, this is our second webinar. We will have third webinar on the topics perpetual sustainability with emphasis on various MSME schemes on 20th April, which will be addressed by the eminent exponents on MSME, amongst which are Sri Sudhir Garg, Joint Secretary, MSME, Government of India, Sri Gauranga Dikshit, Director of Finance, the National Small Industries Corporation, CMA Baldev Sathie, Director of Finance, NBCC India Limited. The international webinar will be hosted in association with our London Overseas Center of Cost Accountants on 22nd April on the topics UK India Living Bridge, Business and Education. Honorable guests from London, Lord John Bird, Member of the House of Lords, Mr. Nick Lowe, British Deputy High Commissioner, Kolkata, and Mr. Kevin Macaulay, Managing Director at UK India Business Council, will have their august presence in the international webinar. I request everyone to attend all the webinars to make them grand success and to spread message to their known ones for their participation. Now coming to today's topics, In business environment characterized by uncertainty and turbulence, cost management becomes a crucial factor for a company's success in keeping and upgrading of its competitiveness. In an effort to create a successful business strategy that might respond to all challenges of modern environment, company management has to possess a quality database. And as rightly told by Madam Jyoti Satish, this is equal our voice. Our idea for holding this webinar on the topics concurrent cost management through value chain is to stimulate the MSME entrepreneurs think about the costs, position they take in the structure of price cost and their influence in forming the sales price, since it is very important to produce right product for the consumer of desired quality and functionality, but along with as low production cost as possible. It is therefore needed to construct the right design of a product and provide its production at the shortest possible time, along with as low cost as possible, which will impact the efficiency of the entire value chain. Our learned guests and speakers, those who are domain having a huge knowledge on this and who are always guiding us on the various aspects of this cost management. Our past presidents are here, our speakers are here. They will be giving an insight for the benefit of all the stakeholders of MSMEs. Sir, we welcome you from the core of the heart for having your time in your very busy schedule amidst us. Thank you. Over to Dr. Madhumita. Dr. Shuk, please.
Thank you for that warm welcome address and introduction to the subject and plans ahead, sir. Thank you very much. Now it is time for us to hear the special address by our illustrious action-oriented CMA H. Padmanabhan, Chairman, Committee of Accounting Technicians. Welcome, sir. Over to you, Papan, sir, please.
Thank you so much, Jyoti Satish Madam. First woman chairperson of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, sir, and the Regional Council. Honorable Chairman, Chittaranjan Sattopadhyay, sir, a dynamic personality, though he is having the chairmanship of banking and financial services and indirect taxation. But the small step now has become a giant leap as far as MSME world is concerned. The reason being, the Institute book, the initiative taken by Chitoda, released by Honorable Anurag Thakurji, has reached almost all the bankers except Blood Bank. All the banks have received, and the feedback is really fantastic. And the staff college and the staff training centers of various banks where that CMD or executive directors or GMs have handed it over, they have given the feedback and they were praising the institute for the first time as far as this particular material is concerned. Thank you so much, Chitoda and the entire team. So nice of you. Honorable President Bisrup Dada, Honorable Vice President P. Raju Iyer, sir, our own Kunal Da, MGK sir, Dr. Durga Prasad sir, my very dearest, and P.V. Bhattat sir, all former presidents of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, our own beloved Venkatramani sir, Hariharan sir, and all the other very eminent members and those who are attending this particular webinar. I used to call this as webinar because this is a webinar with the interactive session. We have such stalwarts, nearly 3 former presidents and 2 eminent speakers to address on the topic, and Bhattat sir to conclude. I am very happy one side, Chitoda, for declaring this month as MSME month. My only request, with some experience, what is happening in the institute, being the chairman of CAD, I would like to share that the Maharashtra government has come forward and requested us to be their partner to train 2 lakh youth within a span of 3 years, especially to serve the MSME and public sector, public utility services. Like that, many governments have come forward. Now, we are receiving a request from various governments. Actually, Kerala, it is already done and still growing in a very big manner, like rocket. It is going very high. Each year, we are able to produce more than 3,000, 4,000 accountant technicians. And the government is very serious about this. Only thing is, being a banker, I personally feel even the unorganized sectors also should be taken care of by this MSME government, department or whatever it is, because there are a lot of unorganized sectors who are doing really well, as we all know. When we go to various streets and this thing, we are seeing how much these vendors and this thing they are doing exceedingly well. They need to require some help. And with the stalwarts here who are going to deliberate on this, and the government is also very serious about the skill development. And any MSME sector, for that matter, requires definitely help from professionals. Otherwise, also they are doing exceedingly well. But however, a small professional touch, an accountant in their particular thing who can help for complying with the government requirements or the authorities requirement will be of great help. Having said that, the institute took this initiative thanks to MGK sir, Durga Prasad sir, and Venkatramani sir in particular, everybody. We, in fact, went for minimum 3 months continuously. We are having webinars each week or each fortnight. And 36 help centers were established across the country. Only thing is the chapters or the ROCCs or support centers who were showing the interest to become the MSME support center. Later on, because of this pandemic situation or for some lack of proper guidance or link between the institute and that particular with regard to this particular area, maybe a little drawback or slow this thing I am watching. I am admitting personally, because I am no way connected with this particular MSME wing or whatever it is. But personally, we took the initiative and we saw a lot of enthusiasm. Even today, there are chapters and regions who are requesting me that the institute has declared MSME month. Can we organize some programs, sir? Yes. Through this channel, we are very clear. When the institute calls for a particular month as MSME month or agricultural month or corporate law month, it is for the chapters and region also to involve, because each state has a different thing. And Chittoda, the huge demand has come from, especially from southern part, which I know I am telling you, they want some material in vernacular languages. It is not that the southern part MSME people are not aware of English or whatever, but there are entrepreneurs and the thing who are comfortable to acquire the knowledge in their own vernacular language, maybe in the form of a CD or a type of video. When Hariharan sir or the stalwarts are here who can throw on light, if you can take some good session through them, make a video, and that can be, so they will disseminate among their own people. Like in each state, if we can bring vernacular, the book may not be that much huge, Chitoda, but if we can make it a little bit abridged, the thing, what is required for them, because all big Kunal is there, MDK sir is there, Durga Prasad sir is there, Hariharan Murthy sir is there, Venkatramani sir is there, who are all experienced person, if you can take that. And one more request to the institute, to Rajwayar sir, Biswarup Dada also, whoever may be the chairman, each April, each year, we should henceforth declare that April will be MSME month. Why I am telling, if we do something, and today we are going to get a lot of inputs from the stalwarts who are going to address on this particular subject, maybe more subjects like it was told in the days to come. We will have a final consolidated report on March of 2021, 22. That means 1 year. Then next April start. So where there will be what we have done, then action taken. Therefore, then only what Nitin Gadkari sir requested our institute. Maybe because of this pandemic situation, he could not give time, or he could not go and meet, or we could not go and meet. But I felt that Honorable Minister was not telling for the sake of telling. He really meant what he spoke. And he is expecting our institute to meet him at the earliest. And we have to go in such a thing that the government also will feel that this institute is very serious. And for that, our officials, our team, our CMA family members also have to listen, and if not 100%, at least to some extent come to the expectation of stalwarts like Kunal Da, MGK sir, Durga Prasad sir, Venkatramani sir, or Bhatt sir. Why I am telling this is they are there to guide us. They are telling so many ideas, but the implementation part, it is for the existing elected representatives like me, you, everybody. We are here to do it. And I request not only the council members, but also the region and the chapters also to involve. MSME is one aspect. Like that, so many aspects are there. And from the accounting technician board, Bhatt sir is very much here. From the CAD directorate, we give full support. And for any research activities and the thing which Rajwayar sir was telling, we need a lot of youngsters, a team in various states. where they can do some survey and get the details so that we can really understand the problems and give solution if at all they require. That should be the try from the institute, and I also, as a part of ER, assure you that I will also try my best to listen to the experts like Venkatramani sir, Hariharan sir, and other former presidents, and together let us make it so that government not only see, when I tell government, it is not government of India alone. Maybe even at panchayat level, even at the municipality level, corporation level, they should feel that we are there. It is not that a prime minister declaring a startup or a smart city. As a practicing cost accountant, if our institute can improve the research wing, if some expert practicing cost accountants are given a work to go, say, cover these 120 cities where smart cities are declared. So each city will have separate or unique certain things where we need to conduct some study and submit, so that along with the government, along with the actual field level players, that is the entrepreneurs who are in the MSME sector, definitely we can do from our institute. So thank you, Chitoda, for ensuring that you have declared this month as MSME, and hearty congratulations to you, Raju sir, and Visru Dada also for declaring next month as agricultural month, because these are all very, very important things where the down the level hard working contributors to the nation building process need help from the professionals like our institute. So thank you very much, all the very best. Thank you, Jyoti Satish madam, for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Papan sir, for sharing your thoughts, and congratulations to the CAT team, the entire institute team for getting the acceptance and accolades from various different governments, and also bringing out the seemingly simple but important requirement of notes in vernacular languages, sir. Thank you so much. Now, may I invite upon our Vice President, CMA P. Raju Iyer, sir. Over to Raju Iyer, sir, please.
Thank you, thank you. Good day. Wishing everyone a happy Yugadi and happy New Year. Respected our President, CMA Visuru Basuji, our Chairman for Banking, Finance and Insurance Committee, Chittaran Chatterjee, my council colleague Padmanabhan, who is Chairman for CAT Committee, and the eminent past person, CMA Kunal Banerjee, CMA M. Gopalakrishnan, CMA S. Durga Prasad, and our eminent speakers, our Venkatramani sir, and Hariharan Ramurthy, and all other experts and everyone, and CMA Joji Satish, Chairperson for SARC during last year, and other participants. It's an excellent opportunity CMA Chittaran Chatterjee has created for declaring this month as MSME month, and next month we are declaring as agriculture month as pointed out by Puttaravan, and June as an internal auditing month. The purpose of declaring the month is that we'll be focusing on our activities on that particular aspect. Why MSME? MSME is one, as we all know, that which is contributing for the major GDP for the economy, and as well as it's a major employment provider. Second, we have always discussing that MSME, we have to consider MSME, and MSME will be the largest employment provider and consultancy provider. And especially the MSMEs are looking for a lot of cost management consulting from us. And as an institute and as a profession, we should be providing them the expected support. And we have conducted a lot of program, lot of events from MSME associations, industry associations, and all that. They were all expecting and how effectively we can provide them the service, how their members can be benefited. And as Chittaran has pointed out, this month we are having a lot of events and international seminar also there, where the MSME association, the MSME, the small industries from UK will be participating, and they'll be having discussion with our members. So this program, we are inviting all the MSME associations and the MSMEs to participate, so that we'll be able to have the real exchange of ideas and exchange of knowledge. And on the same day, education ideas also will be there. Educational association from UK also will be participating there, and what all the opportunity in education aspect also they'll be declaring. And we are having every eminent speaker as Venkatramani is hands-on experience in MSME, and and I'm very much thankful to him for preparing our report on performance appraisal, and which Nitin Gadkari has very much required from our institute, which we hope it will be completed as soon as possible. And we are having our Kunal Banerjee, who is having hands-on experience with the large, medium, and small industries, and he is having lot of support from, he was providing a lot of advice and other things, MSMEs, and our M. Gopalakrishnan sir, and who is hands-on exposure with the textile industry, not only on textile industry, other industries also in Coimbatore and Tirupur and Salem area, and who is having very good intelligent knowledge in the board level management also. He is in lot of board and he will be having first-hand experience what the industry requires. Now Durga Prasad, who is in IT sector and who is having asserted not only on education but MSME also various organizations who will be having very good knowledge, will be very much eager to listen to him. And our eminent speaker Venkatramani, who himself is running a MSME industry and who knows what all the finance and what are the, especially in this pandemic situation, how we will be able to support MSMEs so that they'll be able to come out. And our Hari Raman is our expert and who is having very good knowledge. And as pointed out by, we have to focus on the so-called unorganized sector. To just to give one information, the unorganized sector is a very knowledgeable people. If you take any street corner or street places, if you go to them in the month of October, November, they'll be selling the books and the puja materials. In Deepavali, they'll be selling the crackers and all the items what you require for Deepavali. During Christmas, they'll be selling the flowers, and during the New Year, they'll be changing. And during Vinayak Chaturthi, they'll be selling. So they know how the product. They don't have place to keep the stock also. They are the real experts who knows how to handle and how to get the finance, how to contribute, and to support them. If you do lot of activities, then it will be an excellent one. Another example I can give you, and when as I am a member in Lions Club, so we were moving to outside the Sri Chengalpunda other area. So when we were traveling, we found one lady who was working on the street preparing dosa and those type of items. So we were going that. Then we said we'll give her some money so that she can develop this. And next time when we visited, we asked what happened to the money what we are doing. She said I bought a TV, and we were surprised. Then she was giving the case that their children were playing in the road, so that if she is having a TV in the house, they'll be watching the TV. She need not worry about them when they are crossing the road and all that. She can concentrate on the business. The business has improved. That is how their mindset is working, how they are thinking. So same way, the MSM is also having lot of ideas, lot of intelligence. So unorganized sector also we should concentrate as a profession. It is our responsibility and duty to provide them the services. Thank you for the opportunity. I am very eager to listen from all the experts. Thank you. Thank you. Wish you all the good day and happy, healthy, wealthy, and prosperous and successful New Year. Thank you. Thank you. Good day. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Cma Rajaya sir, for your address, bringing out the nuisance in the MSME business. We are supposed to have our president's address right now, but I guess sir is yet to arrive. So we will go forward with our program. As and when our president arrives, we will get him into the session. Let us now move on to the session where our guest will be deliberating on the subject. We have very illustrious and very expert illuminaries on the dais today. All are from different walks of life, but all totally or having a real expert experience of, with the MSME sector. Let us first request Ma'am Madhumita to introduce CMA Dr. A.S. Durga Prasad and hand over the session to him. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. First of all, it's a pleasure to see sir after such a long time and crossing this pandemic and everything. So, Dr. Durga Prasad is a cost and management accounting with 35 years of experience in financial management and cost management in a variety of industries. He is practicing as management consultant for the past 25 years, and his experience includes financial advisory services, strategies, and business development for small and medium industries, and providing cost management systems, quality management, and MIS systems for large number of units. He is on the board of several companies in the information technology and consulting companies, and he has been involved in all facets of corporate strategic management, including business goals and objectives, developing business models, financial structuring, mergers and acquisition, valuation of companies, capital structuring, and advising clients on the future plans related to fundraising. He was also involved with a number of public offers and was advisor to a number of companies. So I can go on and on, and this session will take the entire time if I go on talking about Sir. So over to you, sir. It's a pleasure to hear from you now.
Thank you, Madhumita. I request that since we have been, I think the four of us past presidents are here, we have been at the helm of affairs of the institute, and I don't think we should waste our time in introducing any one of us. I was trying to interrupt, but you are in your own way. Anyway, thank you very much for that introduction. A very, very good evening to all the people who are there on the dais, which is invisible, and then e-dais. Respected President, he is not there. I think he is expected shortly. Vice President Raju Iyer, Central Council member, and my very, very good friend Pappan, and good friend Chairman BFSI Committee Chittaranjan Chatterjee, my colleagues and the speakers Venkatramani and Mr. Hariharan, and very good old friend from Nagpur. Then Kunal, everybody is there. What I thought when this request has come from Chittaranjan and I saw the schedule, I was expecting it to be a discussion with the Jyoti as the moderator, but then you have asked me to speak. I would still prefer on a subject like this, it would be good if we have a discussion with the points available with you. Having said that, one advice to the chairman is, whenever we have, I'm very glad and congratulate you and your team for declaring this month as MSME month. And I also congratulate Pappan for having got the offer from Maharashtra to train about 200,000, which is all good news. And these are all progressive matters. But the advice that I wanted to give you, Chitto, and whoever is available here, Pappan and all, for these meetings, it is very important from your committee that a synopsis for each of this session is made available and presented by your committee to the speakers. That goes a very long way. Otherwise, what happens is, I have experience, Gopal has experience, Kunal has experience, and each one of us has to keep listening to the other as to what is the duplication that we have made in terms of notes with us. Because if I start with, since I'm the first speaker, I'll take the benefit of speaking about value chain analysis and how it is impacting and all that. Then Gopal will come, then if he has already thought about something to link, if I have already spoken about it, then he will have to, what you call, link to what I have spoken. So at least for the next webinar, I request, I think you have to take this as a suggestion positively and come out with a synopsis as to what the committee thinks about the particular topic that you are trying to give it to the people who have come here to speak. And especially, I think all of us are guest of honors here, so nobody is a speaker. So each one of us will have to share on experience. This is on the lighter vein, and the topic that you have chosen is excellent: concurrent cost management through value chain. I think value chain has come into prominence through Michael Porter, and I think we have been hearing about this for the last 3 to 3.5 decades. But how is that it is very important for MSME? It is very useful way of thinking in which, the MSMEs can deliver value to their customers, and also to review all the things which can maximize that value. This is a simple definition. And as value chain, I don't want to repeat it, but it refers to the full range of value added activities which are required to bring a product from its conception through design, sourcing of material, intermediate inputs, production, marketing, distribution, and support services. Everything is there. End to end is what is value chain. And I listed 3 basic objectives for this. One is to determine cost and profitability of at different stages in the value chain, and to understand the cost composition, and third, to measure the competitiveness. This is the brief for which many of the people have been looking at the value chain analysis. Since Gopal is already there, Venkatramani is there, who has has tremendous experience as an entrepreneur, and we have the vice president from the Lahu Udyog itself. I would like to touch upon one very important thing which has come into prominence and which was taken up as a survey by FICCI. Hariharan sir, I don't know whether, I'm sure you must be having a knowledge of this. Fickey and Grant Thornton have done a very good report on integrating global value chain with MSMEs. This is something, I think this report is very old, 8 years old, but still it holds good. Only the statistics would have changed, but nothing that they talked in that has changed. In fact, it is for a big improvement that they were talking about it. To drive home the point, instead of talking about what are the what it means, I would like to touch upon some of the examples which they talk about, which come to my mind when we talk about the global value chain, how it has impacted or how it has benefited the small scale sector, small and medium sector, and also the customers to whom they have done the work. First, the first case study that comes to my mind is Hong Kong had one supply chain management company. Okay, I think Gopal can dwell it in detail if he has all the data. This company was known as a smokeless factory. They never had a factory. All they had was a technology with which they have integrated all the supplies. The supplies for cotton was from a country. From there the cotton used to move for ginning. From there, for making garment, it used to go to somewhere else. All they did was compiling the data, providing that intelligent input, and making the garments and supplying to their clients, whether it was France, which was very well known for changing the fashions month on month, and also to UK, USA, and all that. This is one way of integrating the value chain. The second example where all of us have in South, Tirupur. Tirupur is another best example of how people have been benefited by creating a cluster. The government in MSME books, government has been propagating this. We have several MSME clusters. Some have been very successful, some have not been very successful. Auto clusters have been very successful, and clusters from textile have been very successful in terms of creating that value chain. The 3 points that I have mentioned in brief, I think these clusters, whether it is Tirupur or the ceramic cluster somewhere close to Ahmedabad, and auto cluster, we have several auto clusters in Tamil Nadu and Gurgaon and other places. They've all been successful. This is again where the customer, their customers, for example, Tirupur's customer could be Walmart, and I'll take the example of Walmart. Walmart sources majority of its garments and other related material from Tirupur and other areas. Close to Bangalore, there is an area, Ballari, which is known for manufacturing denim pants. It's again a cluster. These people, they don't own the brand, but they supply at the very, very cost-effective price by maintaining the quality to those customers. So the end-to-end value chain, the way, whether it is Walmart, I just took an example of Walmart, but there are many of Indian companies also which use this. When Tata's wanted to come into car manufacturing, the first thing that they created was those companies which can manufacture individual components, and majority of them have been provided with the design, and some have even been funded through a venture capital fund. Jardine Fleming was the first fund which was created to fund these companies. So the end-to-end value chain, each individual company need not do it, but the way it has been structured is somebody does a particular component, then it goes to the other company, but the entire thing is run through a technology. So technology has saved the time and also created a value to the person who is manufacturing, or to the unit which is manufacturing that, and to the customer who is actually buying it in different pieces. So here, one of the most important things that they have driven home points, without quoting Maruti, I think it will not be a full address. Maruti again has provided an example how they have created the value chain. We'll not talk about JIT and all that, because many of these components go and store that in the warehouses created at nearby to Maruti, whether you can really call just-in-time manufacture, because instead of Maruti hoarding them, somebody else is hoarding it. So we'll not get into that discussion at all. But definitely Maruti, including their overseas supplies, they source it from these people. That means some people had the vision. So that vision they have translated to create a global value chain system in order to get their end product from one country. That's what Maruti did. That's what many other companies did. You take any of those big MNC companies like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or even that pizza manufacturer, they have all created MSMEs. They have owned MSMEs in terms of knowledge, providing them with technology, providing them with the processes, and then taking the product from them, thereby not only helping those MSMEs to have a structured, streamlined system in place, but also get the product the way they want. So it has served both the purposes. One, they are able to manage the cost very well. And two, they could provide inputs to those small companies which are deprived or which could not afford the kind of processor that they come individually on their own. One of the biggest problems that many MSMEs who have, other than those who are supplying to these big people, one is many of them wanted to create a brand for themselves, but not many could create. There are people who could create, but if you look at the large number of people, many of them could not create a brand by themselves. That is because lack of resources. It could be financial resources, or it could be technical resources, or it could be design deficiencies, or it could be that they are unable to cater to the market or to the customers to whom they wanted to serve because of all these problems that they have. So if we have to really do the value chain analysis for the MSMEs, we need to understand what exactly are those problems and which are those companies which are facing these problems, and then bifurcate them into technology related problems, design related problems, market related problems, finance related problems. Then I think, and all this when I'm talking, they all form part of the value chain that we have been talking about it. When I have given the example, it talks from beginning to the end. Sourcing of material, which includes service matters like finance, HR, and all form part of that itself. So if we want to really have a proper cost management through value chain analysis, we need to understand the basic cause. We have to understand the root cause because of which these companies are suffering. If we go and then talk about value chain analysis to a company which is doing a 10 crore business and say that you have a deficiency here or you have inefficiency here, I think there are very few people who will buy that, who will buy the idea. And that is the reason why many companies are stuck between that 5 crores to 10 crores to 15 crores. Majority of the MSMEs, if you take. One reason earlier could be because of the taxation that was there. If you are exempt up to 2 crores, people used to create multiples of 2 crores and then run it. But I don't think that is the order today anymore. With the change in definition, with the change in the landscape of doing the business in this country and the way economy is going, I think those days have gone. But if really we have to do and then bring trust to it, I think we need to look at what are the core issues, which are the issues which are really bothering them, understand that root cause and address that root cause and help them to come out of that root cause. That would be the best way forward. I didn't want to really talk about cost management here. We have Gopal and Kunal already here who have been spending donkey years in this particular subject. So I didn't want that to be written, but I thought that I should pose the problem from the point of view of MSMEs. I have the experience of working with almost 250, 280 MSMEs for whom I have arranged funding to the extent of 3,000 to 4,000 crores in the last 15, 20 years. They are all small, but I know what kind of a problem that they face. And then even when you are a consultant, it's not possible to address every problem. If they have a technology problem, it's difficult for somebody who wants to fund them to go and address it. We have several schemes that have been listed by Government of India, but majority of these schemes have never been percolated down to those small MSMEs, small companies which have 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore turnovers. Maybe they could have become, they have become a part of your Lagu Udyog Bharati and all that, but I do not know how many of them really come forward and then attend your meetings, come forward and then talk about their problems with you. That is because the number is so large. The number is so large. We always talk about peripherals. So time has come. This is the sector which contributes 45% to our GDP. And in spite of everybody talking about MSME, everybody talking about that the need to change the value chain, improve the value chain and all, but I don't think anybody has really worked hard to get there and help them. I think this is the point I wanted to drive. I don't want to say, sound cynical, but I thought that I should make this point in a forum like this instead of talking about cost management, whereas there are many other speakers who have a lot of experience to speak. Thank you, Chitoda, for giving me this opportunity. I'm sure that you will take the suggestion that I have given positively, and bear this in mind. When we want to take up something, ensure that we take it to its logical end. The program should not end on 30th April, that I have done a program of 4, I have a minister coming in. No, I don't think it is going to solve it. I have to make this statement, Chitoda, because I have addressed a webinar on this on the same MSME almost a year back. Papan invited me, he pulled my leg whenever I didn't want to come. I have made this point at that point of time, but I am yet to see from the institute that some action has been taken on the lines that have been suggested. So when we bring our experience and we are sharing that experience, sparing time, I think you also should spend some time with your office and ensure that these points are taken to their logical end. Then I think it will be meaningful and it will be a satisfaction to us. Me and Gopal have already offered that we are available, any advice that is there. Papan came back, and after that Papan himself got what you call, he thought that everything has been watered down, and then he also left it. It should not happen. That follow-up action, taking it to their logical end, is very, very important. Like what you brought down the book, it's a wonderful book that you brought. Similarly, you have to bring out a book highlighting what are the root causes for the MSME sector still not to be successful. I think this should be your goal. We can, I mean, here people can talk hours together on cost management and all that. But what ultimately matters is, are we able to address the root cause for which they are not being successful? Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. If you have still time for any discussion, and with Hariharan and the others experts being there, if anything is there, then I'm willing to join the discussion. But for the present, I think this is what I thought I should share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Durga Prasad sir, for the thought-provoking speech with supporting examples from industry out of your own experience on creation of value chain system and other root causes related issues. I'm sure Institute has taken the note of that. Now, let us move on to our next speaker, CMA M. Gopalakrishnan sir, former president, MGK sir for us. And over to you, Ma'am Madhumita, to introduce sir.
Madhumita, very brief introduction.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. But as Durga Prasad sir said, it's really no point wasting time, because all the sirs are our past presidents and we know them very well. And Gopal Krishnan sir was the president of the institute in the year 2009 to 10. And he was elected to the Central Council of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India for the year 2004 to 7, 7 to 11, and 11 to 15 terms. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. Good evening, Vice President Raju here, and President. When he comes in, I offer my best wishes for the season, and the Chairman of BFSI, my very good friend Padmanabhan, and moderator CMA Jyoti Satish, and my colleague past presidents, and Mr. Hariharan, our guest from Lagu Udyog Bharati. I really enjoyed addressing Lagu Udyog Bharati last year, and that actually triggered a series of webinars by some other organizations, including some of the management association. And I shared the concept of Simply Cost, which is mainly addresses the MSME sector. Of course, Dr. Durga Prasad has really put the correct perspective with a launch pad. He has really taken off the rocket in the higher orbit, and made the job much easier for us to only keep the orbit going. Although the topic is on concurrent cost management through the value chain. See, some of the key points which Durga Prasad mentioned, they are very, very vital from the MSME point of view. Of course, I will just share some 1 or 2 instances which happened very recently, last week only. Some almost for a month, one of the units in Tirupur, which belongs to the knitting industry, they had been approaching me for improving their cost systems and all that. And then our Coimbatore office, and I also had the opportunity to go through their entire value chain, right from the sourcing of yarn to the final knitting. And as rightly pointed out by Dr. Durga Prasad. They are delivering to some of the leading value, some of the leading chains across the globe, and especially in the pandemic. Some of these sources which are based in other countries which are affected by pandemic, they have shifted to India. Last year, of course, except for the second wave which is happening now, our country had the best of the situation, and they were able to face that. And actually, when I went through the entire exercise, the cost management and all that, I found that almost 93% of their cost is on the material, what they are sourcing, not only yarn, but also the additives which go into the making of a garment. And I told them, forget about any cost management for the 7%, because if you apply a Pareto, you have to concentrate on 80-20 rule, and concentrate on your the material what you are sourcing and what will be your material cost. And incidentally found that one of the major aspects, actually they were thinking that some of the orders, some of the big orders they got, they were losing, and the main reason for that was the non-systematic approach of accounting for the materials inside the factory. Of course, we can, although technically we can say that they belong to the MSME sector, because one of the division is coming within the criteria. And once they concentrated on that, they found that almost overnight, although they had the official ISO systems and all that, I suggested the example what Venkatramani usually talks about, that is the US standard automotive standards. You have to go for a much higher standard than ISO, because ISO has become more of a compliance exercise now. And even major customers like Gap or Victoria's Secret, which is in the garment industry, they have their own system of evaluating their customers. And most of the Tirupur people, as rightly pointed out by Durga Prasad, they have an excellent system of accounting. But only thing is, they were not, while they were concentrating on the quality of the products, they were not concentrating on the supply chain within the and within their factory, as well as the value chain within their factory. And some of the operations which they were doing themselves, they could see that they were able to outsource it through the others, who had a better, and any of the pandemic, they also had a much, their competitors had a much better capacity. So I said that usually in the textile chain, it is a cooperation among the competition. This has been in there for almost 30 years. It is called a co-opetition among, that is competition without competition, with the competitors they cooperate, and then. So this was one of the major takeaway I thought that I will share. And another interesting aspect was going away from my textile background. One of my friend who was also the past chairman of the region in our institute, he shared a very interesting experience, because it was more in relation to the capacity, the technical advisory by the institute on capacity. He said that some of his clients, who are in the automobile sector, although by pandemic their actual capacity has reduced, but their in terms of production, they have achieved almost about 80% of the capacity which normally they have achieved through the pre-pandemic years. So under such circumstances, what to do? Then we were discussing quite along on that, and I found out that that particular company, their major source of some of the components as well as the assembly lines which were used by the company were supplied by the MSM. And one very interesting example was the one what was given by the adopted by the company, was that because of the COVID restrictions, they had to spend quite a lot of resources as well as manpower for applying the COVID protocol, which has been mandated by the health ministry and governments. Whereas in case of smaller MSMEs, they were in a much better position to do. And through the years, they have always identified the vendors under the ABC category, with the A category vendors being able to ramp up the capacity to a maximum extent. And what they found was, they were able to combine the ABC category and again apply the concept of cooperating among the competitors, and said that we are ready to outsource these components, provided don't think that each of you are competitor to each other. You are actually become a very major part of our value chain. We want to shift it on a permanent basis. Because naturally there was a question from the MSMEs also that okay, today because of the pandemic situation, no, you are giving the orders to us, but tomorrow what will happen? Tomorrow, why not? Will you go back to your old ways? He said that no. What they were telling was actually we were planning to have an expansion of capacity, but at least for the next 3 or 4 years, we will not be able to think about that. We have to depend on the alternate supply route. One option was to go outside the country and then source it from others, but under the current circumstances, definitely it is not possible. And one major aspect what also was
Voice is breaking. Voice is
MGK sir, voice is breaking.
now okay. Now okay.
Now okay. So while you are till I think
Yes.
was it breaking for a quite
last sentence?
yeah. So actually, this particular automobile sector had taken full advantage of rather reinventing their value chain. And one major aspect which was also required by them was, see, whether our cost is within the range, whether we will be able to make some money out of when we do this one for you. Then what they had to do was, they deployed their own team, went through the cost structure of the MSMEs, suggested improvements in their production and process systems, so that they were able to reasonably assure that they will be able to come out with profitable orders, and then in order to also sustain their business process. See, all these point out to a major role which has to be played not only by the quality as well as the technical processes, but also by the professional accounting team. Of course, although this particular example talks about the cost, but one of the major challenges with all the MSMEs face is when they are quoting, when they are pricing. The pricing becomes a very major challenge. And now, all the leading customers, especially those who have belonged to the MNC or other sectors, they want a very transparent cost sheet from the MSMEs, and they are able to somehow manage something and give. But what happens is what to do subsequently to see that the cost at which they produce are within the lines what they have already estimated. And this is where I think what Dr. Durga Prasad said and what Padmanabhan has also suggested, and what our BFSI chairman has suggested through his aid memory he has done it for the banking areas. I think the entire council as a team has to come, and then along with the chapter connects which all the council members are having. Definitely now I find that we are having a very good resource persons from other chapters also, and definitely we can definitely play a very major role. And like aid, although the aid memoir which is produced by the BFSI committee is a mammoth one, with going to almost 500 pages. I will take the leaf from Padmanabhan's speech, where we can come out with small booklets which can give what are the important ideas which will be able to help the MSMEs. I think with Mr. Hariharan, who is belonging to the Laghu Udyog Bharati, belonging to the sector, I think we can take the advice from them as to what is there. We have to listen to the customer's voice, because what we think as cost management will be completely different from what as an MSME customer wants. Because in the present stage, he will be extremely careful about the.
You are again breaking, Gopal.
Management from the customer. Yeah. Hello.
Although
we are having good systems. Although we are having good systems, like I think I have to be slower in my delivery of speech. Okay. So like TREDS and all that, but a professional interaction will be definitely very helpful to the MSMEs. I think although as DP said, we can talk hours together on the cost management, but we have to listen to our customers And here, no, I would very much like to listen both to our own colleague, Mr. Venkatramani, who is in the industry, who himself is an industrialist, and also Mr. Hariharan, who belongs to the LUB, as to what, as professionals, our institute and the CMA profession can help. With this, no, I close my remarks.
Thank you, MJK sir, for sharing your views, experience, and recommendations and expectations with regard to the MSME sector in a very candid way. Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker is Cma Kunal Banerjee, and we are eager to listen to him. I request Madhumita ma'am to introduce in a very short.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Kunal sir is another personality who really needs no introduction. But he was the president of our institute during the period 2008 to 9, and he have been a member of the Central Council of the institute from 1995 till 2011. And he's also the recipient of CMA Award for Excellence in Business Management by the Certified Institute of Management Accountants of Sri Lanka in 2010. So over to you, sir.
You forgot to tell he is a grandfather.
Grandfather or what? Thank you. After listening to both Durga and Gopal, they have already addressed all the micro points as well as few of the macro points so far as the MSMEs are concerned. So what I thought that let me dwell a little on a rather holistic view of the entire MSME sector, especially post-COVID. What are the opportunities that are there now for the MSME sector, and in what way we can be of any assistance to them? Because the issues that they must look at has already been quite well explained by both Durga and Gopal. But having said that, as we all know, that COVID-19 has been a pandemic of a scale that the mankind has never faced before. This is the first time in our life that this sort of a thing has happened. And the devastating effect of this virus not only has claimed hundreds and thousands of deaths across the globe, it forced the entire world to lock down. The entire economic activity in every country came to a standstill, and every economy is still reeling under this disastrous effect, especially now that the second wave has hit us. Very frankly speaking, with the elections going on, especially in West Bengal and the other states where the elections are going on, we are actually not sure what the count is today. We'll come to know about it as soon as the elections get over. But the effect of it, which started from last year, February onwards, it's still continuing. It's still continuing and with very devastating effects. What has been the effect? This prolonged lockdown has disproportionately hurt the poor and marginalized communities due to loss of livelihood, lack of food, shelter, health. It has also hurt all the businesses, more so the MSMEs and the small traders. The revenues dropped steeply, cash flows got severely affected, remittances got held up, commodity prices collapsed, existing orders were either cancelled or postponed, fresh orders dried up, supply and the value chain got disrupted, and there was a lack of required labor force. The government of India definitely has announced various relief measures for the weaker sections of the society, liquidity for MSMEs, etc. Along with that, the Honorable Prime Minister also made a call for Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India movement with its 5 pillars of economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography, and demand. The question that comes before us is the economic package that got announced, is it sufficient in real terms to boost the Indian economy and especially the financial assistance that has been extended to the MSME sector? In fact, one view is that the looming economic crisis triggered by this COVID-19 pandemic is a chance, an opportunity for India to enact sweeping reforms and attract more foreign investments in the country. We need to liberalize and deepen its financial markets to take policy steps to fix the bottlenecks. We should never allow this crisis to go to waste. We have to focus on growth capital. And let us discuss then some of these positive impacts and expected fallout of this present situation where the MSME sector can play a vital role. COVID-19 has in effect isolated China from rest of the world. USA and many other Western countries blame China as the epicenter and exporter of this pandemic. These countries are seriously considering withdrawal of their manufacturing establishments, and these we have been hearing from last year. I really do not have the entire data with me to show whether how much of these investments have shifted. But if this decision actually results in a shifting of these investments, I expect that India should be a major beneficiary of this decision in the years to come, and MSME sector being the backbone of our Indian economy. Durga was saying I think it's above 45% of our GDP. Definitely it's going to benefit the MSME sector and the entire economy. Central government also announced various reliefs for the Indian industry in the form of reduced corporate taxes. Some of it definitely goes to benefit the MSME sector as well. We need a very, very strong support for our growth potential. Now, this includes banks' recapitalization, their merger consolidation, which is already taken place, boost to UPI, online banking, licensing payment banks. These steps will be strengthening, has already strengthened, or it's going to further strengthen our financial services economy ecosystem. But with this scenario in the post-COVID lockdown and the lockdown situation, I only hope that there will not be any further lockdowns. What is our role? Our role, I think, is critically important. Both Durga and Gopal were pointing out the areas where the MSME sector should look into. It is known that MSME sector obviously cannot employ on a full-time basis a professional CMA or maybe other professionals, but they can definitely get the help of the CMAs for looking at and guiding them in an advisory capacity, in a consultancy assignments, introduce proper systems and procedures. The basic problem that a small sector, Durga was giving the example of 1 crore, 2 crore, I'll even go higher, even a 10, 20, 30 crore company, if you really look into their activities, they don't really have a proper system. It is something of a bookkeeping, obviously, that they do to meet the requirements of law, but using that data to help them in taking proper decision making, I'm not talking of the large scale industries, very large companies, they have their own professional setups, but these small sectors, the CMAs definitely as performance management assessor are in a position to critically analyze cost and performance related data and provide exception reports on areas of concern to the management for their action. I think that is going to go a very long way in helping the MSME sector. We cannot deny the fact that future of our economy will be largely dependent on the proper growth of the MSME sector. As my earlier two speakers were pointing out, the institute has already taken various steps so that MSME sector can avail of professional help of the CMAs, but I don't think it should end with the publication of the book. I think we should be much more proactive and access these sectors uh, through their trade organization, through their associations, and explain to them how we can actually extend our help to them and how they can avail of the professional help of the CMAs. I think the time has come to reassess and reevaluate potential of the CMAs and accept this challenge to combat the crisis and avail the opportunities arising out of this crisis, and at the same time help the MSME sector to grow. Thank you very much.
Jyoti, 1 minute to add what Kunal has
Sure.
said before. Jyoti, 1 minute.
Sure, sir.
Kunal was saying, Kunal, I think if you remember 2015, in order to help this MSME sector, we went and pitched our services with State Bank of India for the benefit of Mr. Hariharan. We went and State Bank of India, we offered that we will be able to help those units which were sick. In the cluster financing, SBI had that time a very big junk in the NPA. They were really worried. And that time, Madam Bhattacharya was there. She's also a good friend of Kunal, and she readily agreed, gave us an audience, and then gave us a couple of sectors for helping them out. But in all these things, what is very important is, while the institute and members come forward, the other stakeholders should also feel that, these kind of services will help them. Unless that matches with this, a solo approach is not going to work. We did work with them. We went and then spoke to everybody. That's a very good point which Kunal has brought in. 6 years back, we did this exercise, and then we went and then succeeded with some meetings, and then it ended there because, as usual, if the person changes the seat, the initiative gets changed. It is equally good whether it is an institution, it is a bank, or it is an association. It all depends on one's individual passion. That should not be there. I mean, that is the point I wanted to stress. Thank you.
Durga, since you raised this point, the institute lost the opportunity of my personal friendship with Arundhati Bhattacharya, who was then the chairman SBI during the 16-19 term. She is retired now. Totally lost.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the approach has to be systematized.
That is the whole problem. Anyway, Chitto, one particular point I have, and all my other colleagues here at this program, I have a meeting starting at 5:30, so I'll have to log out. If you will please excuse me.
Okay, thank you, Banerjee sir, for your take on a macro level post-COVID situation of MSME and the CMA professionals' role there. Thank you so much, sir. Now let us hear Sri Hariharan S. Ramamurthy, National Vice President, Laghu Udyog Bharati, the person representing the MSME as a whole. Over to you, Madhumita ma'am. Kindly introduce, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. We have Hariharan sir with us today, an eminent speaker And I mean, he has got a Bachelor of Engineering from the Illinois at Chicago, and he's also the National Vice President at Laghu Udyog Bharati, All India organization in the services of micro, small and medium industries since August 2019. He has also been the president of Tamil Nadu State from August 2015 to August 2019, and also the member of Ambassador Industrial Estate Manufacturers ASSL. He has got over 30 years of experience in manufacturing of precision coal-forged, machined, ground auto components, operating with 9 plants of Ambassador Industrial Estate with approximate 1,000 plus employees, and he is also implementing an international quality standard across all plants, achieving the IATF certification. That's one of his achievements actually. And he's the recipient of Best Supplier Awards from SEG Automotive, Robert Bosch, I mean, several years. So welcome you, sir. It's a privilege and our honor to have you on board.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving that introduction. Good evening, namaskaram and swagatam to all the participants, ladies and gentlemen. Wishing each and every one of you a very happy Ugadi and New Year to one and all. It gives me a great pleasure to be present before some of the eminent cost accountants of the Institute. And first of all, I thank the organizers for giving me such an opportunity to be present before you today to address the topic of the concurrent cost management through value chain. Initially, when I saw the topic, I was trying to dwell upon some of the fundamental issues that MSMEs are literally facing in this country. And when I was going through the introductory speeches by a lot of members, I was trying to get skewed towards addressing more on value chain. But thanks to the guest of honor speakers like say Durga Prasad ji, Gopalakrishnan ji, and Kunal Banerjee, all of them have actually dwelt upon, although the value chain is very important for any MSME, but one of the fundamental bottom line which comes to all of their speech, if you notice, is like Gopalakrishnan sir said, it all dwells upon the accountability of the materials. And when Mr. Kunal Banerjee said about, a lot of MSMEs having issues about the accounting system. So in effect, I think we in MSMEs in India are actually facing a lot of problems in understanding the management of accounts in our business. Now, I would like to start off with a little reference to our ancient Indian culture, where the current management accounting principles are derived from the Arthashastra. The reason why I'm taking this is something that we at Laghu Udyog Bharati are trying to advocate to all our MSME members. I will come to that point later. As you all know, Artha is nothing but wealth, and Shastra is the science of wealth. But when you say Arthashastra, in a sense, the result of the efforts of a lot of Hindu scholars and priests who have tried to, bring in the cost management principles over several decades ago, and where they really found the 4 traditional duties of Hindu life, which is the Dharma, the Artha, the Kama, and the Moksha. Now, it shows that how these 4 goals were integrated, and that Moksha could be attained by focusing on the remaining 3 goals in a manner consistent with the ethical behavior accepted within the society. Well, if you relate the above Arthashastra to the current model of MSMEs, most of the micro and small units or any entrepreneur who works his day out only for the Artha, which is the wealth, to meet his Kama, which is the desires, but most important is the Dharma or the righteousness or the moral order to attain Moksha. Well, when you say Arthashastra, as the name suggests, it's just upon the supreme importance of Artha, which is the world wealth creation, and also the other aspects of it. Well, I would like to come to our topic today, where there is a misconception in our country where we MSMEs are not for making wealth, and we show the contentness very early, which is also not true. Our ancient slokas, which we chant every day morning, start by remembering Lakshmi, Karagare Vasute Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati. See, but our ancient knowledge is not limited to only Lakshmi, but also goes to one step ahead of Saraswati, which is the goddess of knowledge or wisdom. And at the last or the bottom is the Govinda or the Vishnu, which has two wives, Lakshmi and Saraswati, and Vishnu is the ruler or the entrepreneur who has created this world. Well, coming to our perspective, an entrepreneur must create a wealth with knowledge, which is information, and control, which is Saraswati, which is wisdom, and controlling all this is Vishnu, the Govinda. Now, there is a concept on how business should be looked upon or governed. Now, because after doing the business and generating the profits, well, how should the profits be looked upon or governed? This is what is the major concern of any MSMEs. How should the profits be shared with all those involved in the business, which is predominantly called corporate governance? People who have invested money in your business or the artha, and the second is the kama. The third one in the society is the dharma, and finally the moksha. Now it is equally important that as to how you are sharing equally the profits among the above four. 25% should be given to people who work for you, and the next 25% to the people who have invested for you or your financial stakeholders, and 25% to the society, which is the taxation, donations, and the 4%, which is the most important thing, is the retention, or the dharma is the continuity. Why we are conducting business? It is our dharma, it is our duty. So the fourth share should remain for the furtherance or the continuity of the dharma of the institute or the purpose of the institute. Now, purpose of the institute is to create wealth, and the final objective of the institute or dharma of the institute should be to give back to the institute. Now, coming to the real world where we are in today, especially for the MSME sector, this sector is really facing the real challenges in the post-COVID era, where even the survival has become a real challenge, even for highly successful MSMEs, mainly on account of cash flow and overall financial well-being. Especially after COVID-19, almost all MSMEs have been extremely hit hard and have had to almost start from ground zero. Well, it seems that this is going to be a regular affair, and we are already facing the threat of yet another lockdown, and we need to get prepared for this new normal. Some of the challenges faced with the MSMEs historically are that the basic, I wouldn't use the word lack of basic knowledge, but some of the principles of basic accounting principles, such as the EBITDA, the cash flows, profitability, accounting standards, checks and controls on purchasing and payments, etc., etc. And then exposure on statutory requirements. And they also need strong focus on building strong systems in the accounting practices. And most importantly, the financial self-discipline. See, many successful MSMEs are those who pay equal and focused attention to the above four areas, and in effect create what is called the artha or the wealth creation. Many highly technically qualified entrepreneurs sometimes fail, mainly due to the lack of attention to the above four key factors. And this is where institutes like ICAI should come forward and prepare a booklet for the MSME sector, which should be simplified and easy to follow, mainly for the micro and small units. Well, one more concept which is misunderstanding of many MSMEs is the bridge loans which we carry forward in place of the cash credit. Well, we must understand that the cash credit should be understood as a cash cancer, because CC only spreads and never gets contracted. In our business, although the business grows every year, but the cash credit also keeps growing. We haven't seen any MSME who has reduced their cash credit when their business grows. So now this brings us to the most important portion of the industry, which is the cash flow. The most important solution for this is that the businesses should ensure that the working capital or the cash credit should come down with increased business. Now, one of the the other issue with the MSMEs are facing, especially after the post-COVID crisis, is that they have been given additional cash credit by the government in the form of the ECLGS schemes, which is again a higher burden to the already suffering industry. Well, even the concept of depreciation is not understood by the MSMEs, which actually adds to our cash flow, and this money again needs to be reinvested back into the business. And this is what the government wants us to do, but many MSMEs fail to understand this, and pull away lots of money, leading to cash flow crisis. Now, what we really want from this eminent institutes like the ICAI, we request the esteemed chartered accountants present in today's meeting to play a very important role in advising the MSMEs in a progressive manner, considering the overall growth of the country and industry at large. I once again thank the organizers for giving me such an opportunity and look forward to hearing any questions. Thank you.
Sri Hariharan sir, we are grateful for the powerful deliberation, putting many things in perspective. You correlated ethics, knowledge with Arthashastra, and you just simply brought it to the present condition of MSME. And I'm sure the Institute has taken well note of your request, and Institute of Cost Accountants of India has taken well note of your request. And it was an honor and pleasure to listen to you. Thank you very much. Next speaker.
One small point I would like to add to what Cma Kunal Banerjee mentioned about the opportunity what India has got with relation to the China. See, one of the points here is, although India has got the opportunity which is in front of them, but we MSMEs today lack the power of trying to exponentially grow our business the way the Chinese MSMEs or the other Southeast Asian MSMEs are capable of doing. I think this is one area where I think we need very strong support from the government, where we can scale up our activities to the level what is expected by the other world. This is something which is, as MSMEs, we find it very difficult to scale up our operations, even if there is a very huge amount of opportunity available out there. So this is one area where the government also should, come forward and give us. I think there are some good schemes which has come out now, especially the productivity-linked incentive schemes which has come out with the government, which has recently come in. I think these are something which is going to definitely revolutionize. I would still say that the ECLGS scheme is again adding cancer to the, or rather adding salt to the injury. But one very important scheme which the government has still not come out with the exact modality is the productivity-linked schemes. I think this is going to turn around the MSME sector as a whole in the country, and we still await for the final details from the government. I think once this is done, I think especially for the automotive sector, the government has sanctioned almost close to about 50,000 crores. And for the overall industry sector as such, I think it's about 1,85,000 crores. So we really await for some of the final details, and this is going to turn around our country in a big way in the coming years. Thank you.
Jyoti, I would like to intervene now.
Okay,
see, Mr. Hariharan has actually raised a very important point of the cash flow, and also infusion of something like a permanent funds into the MSME sector to help them grow. In order to compete with China, he is 100% correct that unfortunately we had a scheme in the past where myself, Durga Prasad, Venkatramani, all the three of us were involved in the over-the-counter exchange of India, which helped quite a lot of small MSME sector. Although the government has come out with some incentive schemes, and as rightly pointed out by Mr. Hariharan, no, we have to think of something like a equity scheme which is just remaining on paper with the government schemes. I think professional institutes like ours can definitely give a focus on that, which otherwise, as rightly pointed out by him, any interest-bearing loan is a burden on the MSMEs, which is not there for if it is an equity capital, because there it becomes it is a share of profit. So that is a very important point. I think DP also can add.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Venkatramani is waiting, but two important points which that have come out from him, Mr. Hariharan. I am currently advising about 10 to 15 small-scale companies. The mantra I have told them immediately after the reopen, after the pandemic in June was, one is control your cost, and two is manage your liquidity. A lot of people were inclined to go and borrow that money which the government has sent, except for 5 of them did not listen because they were in dire need of money. But the rest 10, I could resist them in borrowing from the banks, because I know that once the repayment comes, it could be very, very, very hard. And just to drive home your point, the receivable position, which used to be normally 30 to 45 days earlier, has now gone up to almost 70 to 90 days. And the help that the government is giving through the banks is actually a pitfall, because people have fallen into the trap.
Right.
And if you talk about the value chain, in the entire value chain, everybody started increasing this. Because I am not paying my vendor is not paying his vendor. So the entire chain, the amount of money that has blocked, you call it, in terms of working capital, is so high that unless there is a non-cost bearing, current cost bearing, equity is definitely more expensive than debt. There is no doubt about it. But as Gopal suggested, unless there is an equity infusion into the system and to those companies, I think the chain would continuously be in that loop. This is a very important point you have raised.
Yeah, this is where I would like to compare the Chinese model of MSMEs versus the Indian model. Chinese model of MSMEs, the government of China supports them completely in terms of equity participation. I think this is where we are able to see the Chinese MSMEs grow even to a level of 500 crores or even 1,000 crores. Today, you can't find any MSME in India which is more than 200 or 250 crores. You will hardly pick and choose. And this is the area which I feel, organizations like ICAI should, bring it to the knowledge of our Honorable Minister, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, and, bring in such kind of support systems. I'm sure, the MSMEs today have gone beyond, trying to cheat the government or do something. I think those are all days of the past. I think the government should start trusting the MSMEs more and give them. I think one of the biggest strength of an MSME is their technical knowledge, which an entrepreneur has got. I think this is where the government should make use of that knowledge and trying to convert them into a success for the country as a whole.
I request, sir, we have to bring a report and we have to submit to Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari before his address itself. At least 2-3 days before we can give it, he will be able to address this one in our meeting. So they'll be adding real value and we will be able to address the issue also. I request our Governor sir, Durga Prasad sir and Hariharan sir to take the lead how we can proceed and to bring the report so that we can forward to him. And he will be in well recipiented. Sri Chava sir is very close to Nitin Gadkari sir, which Sri Chava sir closely is one of his close associate general manager in one of the FPO is close to him. Through him, we can forward the papers immediately as soon as possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, may I make a request? Hariharan sir, can you forward it to Mr. Udayan Sroti, Nagpur?
Sure, sir. Sure.
He's your Laghu Udyog contact.
Sure, definitely. I will do it.
So if you can take it, that will be a real very good effort, and our institute name as well as the profession will be growing, and we will be really supporting MSME.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, sirs, for that input. Now, let us welcome our guest of honor, CMA R. Venkatramani, Director, Westcott Electricals Private Limited, Chennai, who is always ready to come into the fold of the institute to help us with for understanding the MSME sector, its issues, and how we can solve this or we can address these issues. He has been, he's one within from ourselves. Welcome to Venkatramani, sir. Sir, over to you. Please take it.
He is supporting us technically also. He is preparing a report on performance appraisal, which actually Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari requires it. Sir, unmute and speak, sir. Unmute and speak.
Raju sir.
Unmute,
sir. Raju sir. 1 minute. Hello.
Hello, yes, sir.
Hello.
Boli, sir.
And why should collect the information from Mr. Hariharan and why should prepare it before 24th and hand over to the office of the Gadkari ji so that they can come with that point on that point.
Right.
It is my suggestion.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll do it, sir. We'll do it.
Not 24th, 1 week before 25th.
Yeah, correct.
By about 18th. It can be one of these talking points.
Sir, our next webinar on 20th. So we can prepare maximum on 21st. 21st.
Okay.
because
Okay, thank you,
because
sir.
they have to come up. Okay.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir. Over to
Venkatamani,
you,
Venkatamani,
sir.
please unmute.
Please
Mr.
unmute,
Venkatamani,
sir.
please unmute.
Venkateswara, you have to unmute.
Please
Still not
unmute.
unmuted. Unmuted.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you all. Now I don't want to waste much of your time. You already, Mr. Hariharanji has given, because he is our vice president actually. He has given a lot of this one. I cannot, I am just adding few more from the internal performance point of view only. I am talking as a small scale industrialist, MSME industrialist, not as a CMA actually. Because the MSME is a sector where there is a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, the institute is not contributing to the MSME sector at all, actually. That is the present situation, actually. Please change it, because we want, MSME sector wants the services of CMAs, but it is a CMA institute as well as CMA members have to rise to the occasion and support this one. Particularly, Mr. Hariharan said that this Chinese production manufacturing is coming to India. Entire global supply chain, there is an opportunity that we can take we can grab the opportunity. We require professional advice. This is also required actually. But unfortunately, the institute, today you are conducting a program. After that, if you leave it and this one, nothing will happen actually. We will also forget, we will manage on our own way. That's all it will happen actually. Anyway, I got a presentation. I'll do it a slide. I'll upload my slides. Are you able to see it? Are
No,
you
not
able to
yet,
see it?
Not yet.
Any problem?
You have to press the present now. Alt tab and go to that particular presentation.
Yeah, present now button I have pressed and
Alt tab. Alt tab. You have to go to that presentation. Alt tab. You have to continuously press Alt tab till your presentation is. And there, no, you will find sharing.
no, the sharing. This one is not coming.
Sharing.
Is it coming now?
No. Now, once you press the present now, then you have not pressed the present now. Even your screen is not visible. Somebody from the institute who already helped him, why not you?
Venkatamani, if you bring down your cursor down, you will see your bar. Okay, from that bar, you click.
The right hand,
Yeah, present now.
Right side, on the right
Present
side.
now. Yeah, that I have pressed.
Present now, if you have clicked, automatically it should come.
No, present now you have not clicked.
Can you send it to me? I'll do that. You can speak. You're able to see that MSMC observant month, speaker, then video, raise hand, then turn captions, and then present now.
You one by one, you tell me.
First, you will find the speaker, that microphone. Then you will have that red phone, which if you, it will stop the call. Then you have that video, and then raise hand, then turn on captions, and the last one is present now. You have to click that present now.
Okay.
Raise hands, I have put it.
Sir, maybe you can mail it to one
Next
of
to the raise hand,
the.
it is turn on captions, then it is present now.
Venkatramani sir, you can mail it to one of the participants so that.
Yeah, you mail it to me. Can you mail it to me?
Your mailing address you tell me.
Venkatramani sir, I will just send you my mail ID. Just make it. I'll just send it to your WhatsApp now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have just mailed my WhatsApp to you. I mean, SMS my WhatsApp mail ID to you.
While Venkatramani sends this, Mr. Hariharan, one point I wanted to suggest was
Yes,
there is a need to continuously do programs. This is even to the advice that, majority of the MS, except your automotive sector and some sectors on the food, which examples I have given, majority of them have to be made aware and understand the structures and dynamics of working, your value chain. Many of them, because of the business in which they are, the scale in which they are unable to get to that. But I think you as an institution should take up this awareness program.
Yeah, one point what you mentioned in your speech, that we are also facing the same problem. That MSME sector as such, especially the micro and small units, they many times they fail to even approach us to solve some of the issues.
Correct.
So this is the area that we at Labudyog Bharati are trying to give them a lot of support, especially during the post-COVID. In fact, you won't be surprised that we have conducted close to about almost 100 programs during the past 1 year in Labudyog Bharati, especially from Tamil Nadu alone, where we have conducted many programs for the micro and small units. And in fact, we have arranged loans for many units who do not have any loans. See, the government has given 20% loan for the MSMEs who already have a loan, but there are many micro units who don't have loans.
Any loans, correct.
So in fact, we have contacted some of the known bank managers, and we have really spoken about the particular MSMEs and give them the support. And in fact, we have a separate WhatsApp group where many of those members are not even our Labudyog Bharati members. They are all micro units where seeing our performance, seeing our the ground level work that we do, they come and join to us automatically. So that is the kind of work that we at Labudyog Bharati are trying to do. Because 93% of the MSMEs are today micro and small. Okay, I'm talking before the new definition. So yeah,
I think it must be 99.
No, it must be 99. You're right. So
one example I'll tell you, Arhan, myself and Venkatramani, when we were running this OTCI, it was a very big challenge, and I was personally appointed as an advisor to OTCI because it was not doing well. You don't believe. Along with the MD of OTCI, acting MD of OTCI, I did approximately 70 road shows.
Okay.
Drive home the point that they have an opportunity to raise funds through OTCI. 70 road shows.
Oh, okay.
And somewhere the attendance was 100, somewhere the attendance in Mangalore, the attendance was pathetically 4 people.
Okay, okay.
All the way we went.
So,
but then I agree.
Hariharan sir,
a lot of education need to be. Yes, Venkatramani.
Are you already sent it, sir?
Hariharan sir, I have sent it to you.
Okay.
Venkatramani sir, have you sent it to me?
I have sent it to your email address.
1 second, sir. 1 second, 1 second. I've still not received it. 1 second.
I think the institute can.
Actually, one major, if you actually take the total quantum, even in terms of equity investment, it will be just a fraction of the fraction of percentage of the NPS which the banks are facing on a day-to-day basis. If the government can just put in some minor efforts, it will go a long way in helping the MSMEs, especially in the core sectors. See, in the Atmanirbhar Bharat, they have already clearly specified a certain list of core industries which have a major employment orientation. And as rightly pointed out by Mr. Hariharan, most of them are technologically brilliant because they would have come from some company where they would have already been in key positions and got the technology know-how through through their practical experience. And based on that, know if that can be also organized by the government in a big way. Definitely it will go in a, and it can be, when the banks can be part of it, because as DP knows, no, the OTCA previously was rather promoted by most of the banks and financial institutions. And all of them, they were also able to chip in terms of what Mr. Hariharan pointed out, system improvement. Now for GST, when the government has come out with the free accounting software, which take almost about 10 accounting softwares, are provided free of cost to all the GST assessees. Like that, no, purely accounting softwares. Like that, no, sort of.
Mr. Venkatramani, sir, I think you should carry on your speech. By this time,
you open up your PPT and speak. We will understand, because I think there is some problem.
Because time is already
6 o'clock.
Time is already, we are running by the time.
Received the mail also, sir.
You received the mail, sir?
No, I have not received the mail.
Sir, you continue your speech, sir. You continue speech.
There are basically, I would like to highlight on the one area where this see, this MSME sector right now, this ISO 9000 is minimum requirement in MSME sector. This ISO 9000 generates lot of information actually. Really speaking, the information generated by ISO 9000 is much more important, and people have to do it sincerely, because our customer will come and audit. And apart from statutory ISO 9000 auditors, who are invariably the TUV or PVQA, like international firms actually. Because our Mr. Hariharan and myself, we are supplying to almost same customers actually. When we do this, and we are all upgraded to IATF, International Automatic Task Force, is much higher than ISO 9000. This information can be used. These are all mostly non-monetary information. This information can be used by CMS to calculate this one. One thing is performance improvement. The performance improvement can convert it to profits. That is what my presentation. My main presentation is only 4 slides actually. The performance improvement, normally people operate at 70% of OEE, what we call overall equipment efficiency, which is generated in the IATF information. If we have 70% IATF OEE, the profits will be, say, 10,000 rupees per shift per line. If you improve to 80-85%, the profit doubles to 20,000. Simple. And this can be captured in monetary terms, means top management will, the moment you present it in a monetary terms, top management will immediately pay attention to it. Unfortunately, this information is wasted in lot of companies actually. And the CMAs are capable of capturing this information, converting into monetary terms, non-monetary information, converting into monetary terms, and presenting it to the top management. You improve the OEE from 70% to 80% or 85%. For example, for automobile sector, 83% is a global benchmark for OEE. And we invariably operate at 70%. From 70% to 80% if we go, our profit double. Because same machineries are going to be there, same people are going to be there, only we will use more material. So contribution will improve drastically and our profit will double. So this idea, we have to take it forward. I have already given a presentation to the institute actually on this actually. Now, better with all the MSMEs, most of the good running MSMEs have got minimum ISO 9000, and if we are related to automobile, you have to have IATF compulsion. And from that, you calculate the OEE and present OEE, what is the target, and you try to reach the target. The OEE is nothing but 3 minimum parameters. That is availability, performance and quality. That means you are capturing all these things. If there is a material shortage, that is also captured. If there is no enough orders, the sales team can be pressurized actually, get more orders. So it will improve the performance of all the departments of the organization. We are all, because myself and Ariaran, when we sit there, we have hardly 4 or 5 people, they report to us actually. All the 4 or 5 people, we can pull them and bring them to this one. If somebody fails, he can be identified actually. The performance improvement is a very, very important aspect. OEE is the best formula, the single formula. It is only and nothing but multiplication of availability, performance and quality. That's all. These 3, if you multiply, you get the figure. That figure is invariably, if you go to a MSME, it will be around 70%. If you take it to 80% or 85%, his profit will double. First is to the profits. Then the next question, where is my profits? That is the second question actually. First you have to make profits. Then you have to ask the next question, where is my profit? If it is in the form of inventory or receivables or some other one, it is not going to help. So these 2 aspects, CMAs are very much capable of doing. They have to forget all these statutory areas. When it comes to MSM, statutory, we have enough is enough. In fact, we are getting it. Most of the statutories, we are getting out of statutories. If you really see, the last budget, if you see, this GST audit is abolished. That means cost accountants and chartered accountants are deprived of their business actually. Then that tax audit is from 5 crores, they increased it to 10 crores. That means a lot of chartered accountants are losing their business. And the definition of small company is from 50 lakhs paid up capital to 2 crores. Government has increased. Through our associations, we will continuously fight to get out of this statutory business. Because we want to concentrate on performance, we want to make profit. We have all pledged our dream homes, our family jewels to get loans from the bank. No bank gives loan without collateral security. Chittu and Padmanabhan will be able to vouch it actually. We have to pledge everything. We take a lot of risks. The risk we carry is very high actually. For the risk, we want reward. For the reward, only thing is to performance. For the performance, we have got a easy formula called OEE. That OEE formula, we have to effectively implement. And CMS can play a very vital role. Institute can bring out publications on this. And very simple. It is not a very, very difficult subject at all. And it covers all the departments. Fortunately, your performance of each and every department brings the overall performance. So please, the institute take the issue seriously and you bring publications. As you said, vernacular languages, if you bring publication, it is better. So you take the message to each and every MSME unit and try to help them actually. Profit is not because once you go for consultancy, once you go your this one, MSMEs will be your partner actually. You don't have to bother about the consultancy fee and other things. They will reward you. I'm telling you, you can arrange them if as and when required, whether it is equity or the bank finance, you can arrange them. You can do lot of services which a statutory auditor cannot do. I'm telling you, statutory auditor cannot do all this. Only CMAs can do it. And CMAs are not willing to come to MSME. That is a problem. We should have to take an initiative. I will help you. Mr. Ariaran will be able to help you. He will guide you to how to this one approach. And I'm telling you again and again, the institute mindset is most of the practicing members will be this one. To talk about statutory, got enough is enough actually. Even the labor legislation has been now codified into 4 simplified laws actually. Earlier, we have to run after so many inspectors are visiting us. We don't want to do this one. We don't want your support. Some that's why all these statutories are nonsense as far as we are concerned. We want performance and we want profits. Ultimately, the bottom line is very, very important for us. For the bottom line, only CMAs can do a collective work. And the institute has to bring both MSMEs and CMAs together. They have to play a constructive role. The long run definitely will be benefited. And Mr. Durga Prasad and other people spoke actually. You have to, next stage is how to improve the valuation of the company. One is internal performance. Second aspect is how to improve. Durga Prasad conducted long back economic value addition. He had a collaboration with some company. He did it actually. This economic value addition is a very, very important aspect. Ultimately, the company value has to go up. If the company, if it is small, it is not going to help the MSME entrepreneur. The company has to grow big, for which the professional makers have to help actually. And you make it big, the valuation of the company is big. Tomorrow you list it, nobody will like to sell the company or anything. The valuation is there on paper only. But once it is listed, the valuation becomes the reality. And it is listed in a packet. Tomorrow if you are going for a bank loan, the valuation comes in the picture. Performance and
based on what Venkatramani has suggested, this I think Mr. Hariharan can help. Institute should work on non-auto sector or even auto sector have no problem. The value chain analysis data you collect, analyze that and come out with the suggestion, because that makes it very meaningful. We have started a research report with the ISP on why majority of the road projects were getting delayed. Now we have done with the ISB that report. When I was there, we pushed it. After that, I think it has, like many other projects, had died its own natural death. But that's why I'm saying take it to logical, and because on our own we will not be able to collecting data is very difficult. But if you partner with Lagu Udyog and another MSC, one is auto sector, another is non-MSC auto sector, because auto sector, according to me, has matured enough because of the competition that they have, because of the customers that they have. It is a highly matured industry. Whereas there are many non-auto industries where they need your help. So if you are able to come out with the value chain analysis, the process, the fishbone diagram, and a lot of work has to be done. You need to have people who have the right kind of orientation. If you do it with the people who have already operations on hand, I think always operations takes the upper hand than the research that we are talking. So you need to engage people who have the right mindset. I think Madhumita is here. Our intention of taking Madhumita was for that research. Later on, unfortunately, she was pushed into CAT and many other things. But the intent of recruiting Madhumita was she was a research associate. She was doing research for ITC and all that. So you have to engage them and come with that. See, technical publication is the what you call specialization of our institute, any professional institute. So the technical publications is what you need to do with the help of people. Jointly do it, like a FICCI. FICCI has so many members, but still they go and then what you call partner with Grant Thornton or EY or Deloitte. Why? Because those are the big fives where they have their resources. So you identify and come with them so that it helps you. With this suggestion, I think if
Durga Prasad,
we can believe today is our festival. Actually, I wish to hear our people from Nagpur. Sri Hari has been a very good friend. He has written lots of books, Hari, and I think he has not been introduced to you. He is one of very senior members, very closely works with he's an advisor to Mr. Gadkari's companies in the past. I don't know whether he is still there or not, but very learned man, very, very learned man.
Yes.
Sri Hari Garu, we would like to see your face.
Yes, sir. He's here. Now he is supporting in agriculture in a very big way. He and Bhattan sir are supporting in a very big way.
Very, very knowledgeable person, Hariharan. I've been, he used to admire us and I used to admire him. It's mutual, but I know him for almost 35 years now.
Yes, sir.
Ever
Yes,
since
sir.
I started with the institute, I know him. So very learned man. I think if we really present a proper paper, Chito, I think he will take it to the right person.
Yeah.
And as they are both Bhattar and Srihari suggested, you should be able to give them the right, perfect points. After taking it from Hariharan for Mr. Srihari to vet it at least for 24 hours, and then present it to the minister. I'm sure this 1 month program that you have taken up this month as MSME month would be a grand success.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Just to add a small
Thank you.
point to whatever you mentioned, about the non-automotive sector. See, we at Lahudyog Bharati last month, we inaugurated a new unit at Nilgiri, which is one of the tea estates, and we took the support of MSME DI, and we launched a program called Just in Time, which is very prominent in the automotive sector, but we took it to the tea sector, and we told them how this can help your industry. They were completely flabbergasted by the way in which the just-in-time works in the automotive sector, and they have asked us to, give more details and training to their members. So this is what we are trying to do at Lahudyog Bharati.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, CMA Venkatramani sir, for deliberating and reflecting on the subject from your hands-on experience. And sirs, we are running a little bit behind the schedule. Now may I invite CMA PV Bhatt sir, a former president for our institute, for his brief concluding remarks. Over to you, Bhatt sir.
One minute, just one minute. Before that, I request Sir Chava sir to address a few minutes because he has.
No, Sir Chava will address, sir. Sir, Sir Chava will address. He has got his address.
He is coming after this, sir. Yes. Over to you, Bhatt sir. I think sir is not to be seen.
Mr. Bhatt sir.
He's there. He's on mute.
Mr. Bhatt sir, could you please unmute?
I think he is not in the seat. May I invite Srihari sir in the meantime?
He's there. He's there.
Okay,
He's
come. Okay, sir. Okay then. Welcome, Bhatt sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. We can hear you. Please, over to you, sir.
We are.
Mr. Bhatt, please continue.
We have to give the certain paper to the honorable minister so that certain problem can be solved. Regarding that State Bank of India issued 2015-16, I completely remember because Arundhati Bhattacharya was agreed for the for helping to MSME. She has given us the 4 zones: Ahmedabad, Pune, Hyderabad, and one more. But we have not got the support from the zonal offices. So our work has been stuck down there. And we are ready to help the MSME. Venkatramani sir, I am fully our institute and our members are fully supportive to the MSME. We want that some cluster of the 5-6 MSME to be given to the one cost accountant, so can he start from managing the cash flow as well as bottom line. And regarding post-COVID issue regarding Durga sir told correctly that there is a 72 and now 90 days time has been elapsed for the clearing the creditors. That also been creating the problem for the MSME. This issue also to be brought to the knowledge of the government, and government should give a amount on government guarantee. They have given now only 3 lakh rupees if I am not wrong, but that should be much more on 3 lakh guarantee, and some tax concession to be given. Earlier it was given to the excise duty up to 1.5 crore turnover. Now they have withdrawn that. Now only GST there, and if it is also given, then it is gone by way of set off. So certain type of incentive has to be given by the government because it is a labor intensive industry. So it will not compete with the manufacturers. Those are manufacturing through the automation. So certain incentive has to be given to the industries in working in the MSME sector, mostly on the basis of the workers. This is my one more suggestion. We will bring this in the knowledge of the honorable minister on 24th. and we have to submit the paper on 18th to their office. So we get the information earlier that, so we will be channelize it in proper way. Thank you.
But sir, let us now hear a brief summing up of the session by Versatile CMA Sri Harish Shava, consultant of MSME. Over to you, Sri Harish Shava, sir.
Pranam, the gallantry of speakers, audience, reward past presidents and senior professional colleagues. For want of time, I don't want to mention everyone by name. I may be pardoned for that. And we started very nicely with CMA cheerful Chittaranjanji inspiring us, followed by ever verbalent Padmanabhan, CMA Padmanabhan, then always accommodative Vice President CMA Raju Ayassa. Then we got the idea from CMA past President Dr. Durga Prasad about a case study on integrating the value chain. He has cited nice case studies and he has identified the need, cost, control your cost, manage your liquidity. These are the two mantras that would put MSME on right fold. We had then revived past President MGK, talking about competition amongst competitors and ultimately suggesting to the institute that we may come up with a small booklet with cost management ideas for MSME sector. Chittoda, this is a very nice suggestion. If we can take forward, nothing like that, it will be really useful for the MSME sector because I am closely associated with MSME sector in Nagpur through Laghu Udyog. And we had our past president CMA Kunal again highlighting the core value of a CMA. He said CMA as performance assessment manager. This is a very, very important suggestion which should win us not the bread but butter. And we had first-hand and hands-on experience from Mr. Hariharan, who is National Vice President of Laghu Udyog. He has identified the problems, but sir, as put in the words of MSME Minister Honorable Nitinji Gadkari, he says, problems are facts, but create your opportunities in the problems. So on this concept, if we can give a note before 18th, we can put it forward to his secretariat so that it reaches his table before he addresses on 25th. And here also we should have two evaluations. Number one is financial evaluations. Number two is technical evaluations. Technical evaluations or technical solutions can be given by MSME Ministry, whereas financial controls or financial concessions will have to come through Finance Minister, where MSME Ministry will be the recommending authority. I request you to keep this fact in mind. And we have our own CMA Venkatramani telling us performance and profits. These are the two pillars of CMA as also MSME in industry. And our Bhattad sir advising us be ready before 18th to face 25th. Friends, everything said and unsaid, let us remember MSMEs are still family driven. They have low cost technologies. They need very low capital investment. They are labor oriented. They use local resources, and this is the strength of the country. And as you remember, value chain spreads from designing to post-sale support, and so is the cost management. Let us not forget this fact. An ambit of modern cost management is founded on the principle, find the need and fill the gap. This is where we should strive ourselves. And as CMA Jyoti, as also CMA Josna are here, they would endorse my statement, Mother is the best cost manager. And let us learn cost accounting or cost management principles from mother. That is, as a child is born, the mother starts nurturing. As an idea is conceived, the cost accountant is take care of. Come end to end, in the words of CMA Prasad. So role of CMA should be relevant systems and affordable expertise. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you for that remarks and nicely summing up Srihari Chavasa. May I now invite Chitoda for his remarks and questions.
One minute. I wish to inform that Srihari Chavasa is supporting Srihari Chavasa, Buttered and Nagpur team. Madam Joshna is supporting us very much in not only in MSME but also Agriculture Task Force, and where he is having very close liaison with the FPO and he is conducting lot of studies with the FPO. Same way we can do it for MSME also, sir, so that really Institute can come out with a lot of technical papers. Thank you, Srihari Chavasa. Thank you, Buttered sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President, sir. Respected all the dignitaries, all the guests of honor. Now, I think I could establish the fact that we are all guests of honor because the discussions has taken place in a panel discussions type, and it has become a really very enjoyable session. Lot of learning, lot of unlearning, lot of relearning we have made. Sir, I just have one point of question to our respected Horiaran sir. One question just I want to put before you, that being a banker for 38 years, working for the MSMEs in the majority part of my banking, what I have learned that, and you also know, that the project, man behind the project is the most important thing. Man behind the project is most important. Whatever project is prepared, and this is the bankers say, I'm telling you. Now, I have seen, we have continuously been telling that there should be a inclusive growth. There should be inclusive growth. Yes, inclusive growth we want. And we have seen how the SHGs have been federated, how the SHGs have also come out in the micro industries, how the self-help group people have been federated. And you see, in the CDB also has come out with some now unique scheme that 25 entrepreneurs, if come forward, they will be supporting with equity and other issues where the very less contribution will be from the participants. Now, question is that there are two issues, sir, I just want to mention before you, and I am drawing your attraction here. Why the disparity of the professionals in there? I have seen even a CMA who has served for a continuous period of a time for any project. It is my request to your organizations, your chambers, so please bring this matter to the through your channel. That ultimately at the end of the day we have seen bankers not accepting the signature of CMA for the end utilization of funds. Why I am telling you, sir? Because this has pained us. Because our CMAs are really helping the anyone as MSME from nurturing to its maturity. I have seen, but unfortunately that CMA is not being able to only for the government's certain still there are certain disparities are there. That is why I have brought this fact before you. The financial inclusiveness, we also believe. The professional inclusive is also to be there. So inclusive growth should be there. And I am sure today's discussions, deliberations will help us to go further. And I'm assuring from BFSI, whatever best capabilities we do have, with the blessings of our past presidents and with the help, guidance of them, and especially people like you are there with us. Now you have become friend of us. You have given a beautiful sketch of the problems of MSMEs and how it should be resolved, that we are thinking, sir. And we shall be coming out the booklets from the BFSI, of course, taking help of Mr. Venkata Ramani and our Durga Prasad sir, Gopalakrishnan sir, Kunal Banerjee sir. We will be doing it, sir. And ultimately, sir, at the end of the day, I request you to be present also in our program in the when our honorable minister will be presenting on 25th, and we'll be inviting you to be present in that program also, sir. With this end, I convey my heartfelt thanks to all our vice president, our CAT and AT board chairman, and I would request everybody to be with us for furthering on 28th program, 22nd program, and 25th program. I would now like to hand over our HOD of BFSI to offer vote of thanks. Thank you.
Chitoda, whatever you have told, you have his number, na? You have his number,
No,
Hariharan sir.
his number I will tell. I will.
No, not for me. He has left. So whatever you have told, please call him and inform him. Okay. Yes, Karupachi sir. Happy New Year to you also.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone. Very good evening to ladies and gentlemen.
Will you take leave?
Yes, sir. Please take care of yourselves. Sir. Yes.
Thank you.
A very good evening to everyone present, both in the studio as well as our members who are there on YouTube. I'll quickly like to thank the people who were responsible for for making it possible in today's seminar. In absentia, I'd like to thank Cma Vishwarup Basu, President of the Institute. I'd like to thank our Vice President of the Institute, Cma P. Raju Iyer sir, for his kind views and introductory remarks. The Chairman of the BFSI, Cma Chittoranjan Chattopadhyay, for having conceived this month of April as MSME Observance Month and planning out all these webinars and other activities. Thank you so much, sir. Next, we had a galaxy of guests of honors. I'd like to thank them individually. Thank you, Cma Kunal Banerjee. Thank you, Cma M. Gopalakrishnan. Thank you, Cma Dr. A.S. Durga Prasad, all three illustrious former presidents, for sharing your views and also for your advice and tips that you have given us so that we can take this task forward. Thank you so much, sir. We have with us also two guests of honors, very learned Cma R. Venkataramani. He's the director of ESCOT. Thank you, sir, for having so nicely putting in your point about the expectations of the MSME sector from CMAs. Thank you so much. The other guest of honor, Sri Hariharan S. Ramamurthy, the National Vice President, who gave us a classical point of the MSME and converge it with the contemporary point. Thank you so much, sir. Our former President, CMA P. Bhattat, sir, for your insightful concluding remarks. Thank you so much, sir. The very learned CMA Dr. Srihari Chava, sir, for summing up the discussion and covering all the points that has been made during the course of this seminar. I would also like to thank CMA Jyoti Prakash Madam for having moderated this session right from the beginning till the end. And of course, the team BFSI, who have been working day and night from the background. I would also like to thank Josna ma'am for being there with us in the studio, helping us out throughout the month, and members, students, stakeholders who have joined us today in large numbers. For your presence, thank you so much. Season's greetings from the Institute. Please do take care of yourself and continue to support the Institute in our endeavor in search of excellence. Thank you so much. A very good evening to you.
Thank you. Thank you all. And over to Madhumita ma'am, then to the Institute anthem.
Good day. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank our BFSI chairman, Chittoranjan Chattopadhyay, sir.
तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति